All right, life pro tip for the K-Tool brake tool. I've had this for a couple of years, Eastwood. There's a bunch of knockoffs now on this one. But I'm going to give you a tip on how I slightly modified mine to work much better. So I'm doing bubble flares right now, and this is a complete disaster area. But this right here would be a bubble 45 SAE fuel, and that's a nice looking bubble with the 45. It's a nice clean guy, right? That's what you're looking for. If your bubble flares are not bubbling and they're looking like that, I've tried using these before and they will leak, or at least the one that I tried leaked, so I said I'm not going to do that again. So if you're having that issue, the problem is that the tubing, especially larger size tubing, I'm working with 5/16, which is a little bit bigger, right? If you're working with 5/16 or a quarter or anything that's the nickel copper stuff, this is really soft, has a really thin wall to it. This is OEM Toyota, and this is just a little piece of test pipe that I was trying to solve the problem. This is a piece of OEM Toyota fuel line that's much thicker wall, different material, not as flexible, not as easy to work with. I didn't really have a choice. This is the sending unit off of a 4Runner that I'm moving the gas tank, and so I needed to change part of the high pressure send, right? I had to change the length of that guy, so I had to put a new fitting on it. So here's the dies, and here's the fix. So I've seen a couple people who have put a piece of paper in here or something to solve that issue, and I've tried that with limited success. So what I'm going to show you is, number one, make sure this is clean. Like you see, this guy actually has paint on it. Some of it's rubbed off. If the paint flakes get inside the channel, inside the tubing channel where your clamping surface is, it can interfere quite a bit, and it will just slide like there's ice in there. The other thing, just like, so make sure it's really clean. Make sure there's nothing in there. Make sure there's nothing on these surfaces. If there is, and there's something interfering with the clamping, it's going to slide, right? And so you can tell the difference, I think. Let me get up. You can tell the difference between these two dies, okay? This one I've modified. This one I have not needed to modify yet. This is the 5/16, the little bit larger guy, right? It takes more force. You got to clamp that baby down. So what I did is I just took, so this is just a diamond stone, and you could use a belt grinder or whatever. It wouldn't really matter as long as you're relatively accurate. Because these ones I haven't modified, and if you put these guys together, they actually don't, these two surfaces aren't really machined. I'm guessing it's just cast or something. I don't know. But they're not super accurate, and they don't fit together really nicely. These two surfaces now that have been ground on a diamond stone are not dead flat. I mean, they're not like machinist flat, but they're pretty darn flat. They're much flatter than those, right? And when these two go together, these are really nice and solid. And ooh, yeah. And this one, the different sound. So those two fit together really nice. But I think the important part is removing material from here, right? Which then moves that tubing clamping surface, smaller. So it's basically smooshing the pipe just a little bit more. It will mar the pipe just a little bit more, but if you're having problems and you're not getting your bubbles, the pipe is sliding on your operation number one, right? When you're doing 5/16, 5/16 operation number one, that operation is making the bubble. I also make sure you put something on here, like I just squirt some fluid film on here, and make sure that make sure your pipe is nice and clean. And then on operation, wherever operation 2 is on 5/16, this one, right? That guy's actually making the 45-degree flare. So maybe that will help somebody, maybe one. I don't have a demo for you because I'm done, and I only really had one piece. And since I've already modified the die, I can't do it before and after. But I'll make the suggestion, sand down that mating surface so you get a tighter clamp. hopefully, and so far I've had to do 3 of them, and they all haven't slipped. And I was having a lot of issues before. I was only getting like maybe 1 out of 4 to work before. Now every single one has worked since that is. And it makes sense to me that by removing material off here, I don't know now, maybe this is going to rust because I took the coating off. I don't really care. I can put some fluid film on there or whatever when I store it. So not a huge deal. Maybe it'll help one other human being in the world. Maybe not. Slava Ukransky.